There is news, there is sense, and there is nuisance. This show is all about that last bit. I am your stand-in Sasta host Abhinandan Sekhri, while your favorite Manisha Pandey takes a break. Now, in the world of news, the biggest headline globally is the ongoing tariff war between the United States and China. It's wreaking havoc, and it's a pretty rough time for businesses. But we're going to talk about a business that is booming in India. And that's the business of ministers payloading Gyan. Now, week before last, Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Textiles and Food and Public Distribution, who loves payloading Gyan with 100% self-confidence and 0% self-awareness, said this at an event called the Startup Mahakumbh.
I know at least 3 or 4 billionaires whose children make on one brand or the other very fancy ice creams and cookies and run a very successful business, and I have no complaint against that. ये startup नहीं है, ये entrepreneurship है, ये business है. दूसरी तरफ सेमीकंडक्टर्स में ग्रोथ हो रही है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस खुद की अपने देश की बन रही है लोगों की. They are investing heavily to become self-reliant, building chips, AI models, which will prepare the nation for the future. भारत ने क्या करना है? आइसक्रीम बनानी है या चिप्स बनाने हैं?
In more sensible times, this man's misplaced utterances should have been ripped to shreds there and then in real time and exposed for the limited understanding of India's labour market and entrepreneurial environment. But since this is Modi ji's India, not quite a free market, not quite a complete dictatorship, but somewhere in the zone where entrepreneurs and businessmen have to grin and nod when ministers talk nonsense, everyone had to grin and bear it. Now, Minister Sahab was trying to make a point that while the Chinese are dominating the electric mobility ecosystem, Indian startups aren't doing enough fundamental research to build new technologies or products. Fair enough. But the issue, as always, is that the government wants to pin the blame on startups. You see, new technologies don't just appear out of jugaad, like methane gas from Manali. They come from research and development, R&D. And how much does India spend on that? According to the Economic Survey of 2023-24, India's R&D investment as a percentage of GDP is a grand total of 0.64%. In comparison, China spends 2.4%, the US spends 3.47%, Israel spends a jaw-dropping 5.71%. So basically, पैसा खर्च करना नहीं और विश्व गुरु बनने के सपने. And when they do want to incentivize research and startups, they reward shit businesses. No, really, shit businesses. Cow dung and Gaumutra based startup karoge to 60% tak funding will be given by government. So quite literally, shit startups are rewarded. Let me quote from this Times of India report.
Startups focused on commercializing cow byproducts like dung and urine in addition to dairy could receive up to 60% of their initial investment as government funding. The chairman of the newly established Rashtriya Kamadhenu Ayog has said, "We will encourage youths to go for cow-based entrepreneurship and earn not only from products like milk and ghee, but also byproducts like urine and dung." That's Vallabhbhai Kathiria, chairman of the cow board, told TOI. Yes, there is a cow board. Kathiria has been meeting academicians and interacting with students of the Gandhinagar-based Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India to chalk out strategies to attract youths aspiring to be entrepreneurs towards cow-based business models. The Kamadhenu Ayog was set up by the Narendra Modi government in February with an initial corpus of 500 crores.
अरे सर, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस छोड़िए, अभी कॉमन सेंस की खोज तो शुरू करें. What kind of research and development can we really expect in a country where our ministers proudly share a stage with a man who has been pulled up by courts for false claims that he can cure everything? COVID, cancer, homosexuality, etc., etc., etc. Yes, Lala Ramdev, India's answer to Elon Musk. Still waiting for him to cure stupidity. But patronage he will get because he is doing cutting-edge science research. See, this is not an environment where startups flourish. This is an environment where Chatukarita flourishes. See, now in India, your success doesn't depend as much on your business model or execution. it depends more on how loudly and creatively you can chato the sarkar. Patronage pays, industriousness doesn't. Consider this a new metric. Chato quotient, CQ. क्योंकि मित्रों, जब आप देश का काटोगे and there will be no questions, extra CQ मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा? मिलेगा ना? See, in India, success depends heavily on CQ. Remember Paytm taking out a front page ad with Modi ji's photo? Because even if that's a violation of the Emblems and Names Act, it is good business. It's a great business practice saying wah wah to a disastrous idea. But CQ बढ़ाना है success के लिए तो ये तो करना है.
इतने तेजस्वी लोग हैं हमारे पास.
Lala Ramdev always ready to be the in-house quack to push the BJP's anti-Muslim narrative to sell his products. And ministers pose with him even as he makes scientifically false claims. CQ अच्छा है तो लाला जी का बिजनेस दुरुस्त है.
वो शरबत पिएंगे तो मस्जिद और मदरसे बनेंगे और पतंजलि का गुलाब का शरबत पीते हैं आप. ये शरबत पिएंगे आप तो गुरुकुल बनेंगे, आचार्य कुलम बनेगा, पतंजलि विश्वविद्यालय, भारतीय शिक्षा बोर्ड आगे बढ़ेगा. इसलिए मैं कहता हूँ ये शरबत जिहाद भी, जैसे लव जिहाद, वोट जिहाद चल रहा है ना, ऐसे शरबत जिहाद भी चल रहा है.
Or whether it's a phenomenal social media ripoff, Koo. You remember Koo, na? Which was so lazy that even the logo was a गरीब version of the Twitter bird. यार कोई नया जानवर सोच लेते. सुअर, चमगादड़, भैंस, सांप, केचुआ, बंदर, लोमड़ी, गीदड़. Anyway, the Indian Twitter folded up some time back after getting about 500 crore in total funding. It came up at a time when Twitter and Sarkar का दुशुम झगड़ा चल रहा था. Because the best timing is when you can chato the Sarkar. That is considered business acumen in India. The founder of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, had told BBC that the government of India threatened to shut them down and even threatened to raid their employees because Twitter was not taking down posts that the government wanted. Instead, they were taking down fake news and hate speech. Now, Twitter also suspended the current BJP MP, but at that time, BJP cheerleader Kangana Ranaut. But Koo welcomed her with open arms, open wings, whatever. Because when Twitter was not investing in CQ, Koo figured they will do it. You can read the full Koo story through the links in the show notes below and how BJP netas flocked to give it legitimacy. Like they all flock to movies that push their political narrative and post on the still alive Twitter, not on Koo.
इस सज्जन को क्या तकलीफ है भाई?
Market and product superiority का कुछ लेना देना है ही नहीं. Which is why films are flopping one after the other. कोई कुछ बनाना ही नहीं चाहता unless it's the Delhi Files, Sabarmati Report, Jahangir National University, गांधी गोडसे एक युद्ध. सरकार टैक्स फ्री भी कर देगी if they like it. That is the incentive system. And if anyone makes a film or show that Sarkar doesn't like, IT notices, ED raids, etc., etc. Now, Bollywood is having the worst run in decades. Have you ever thought why? Take the entertainment industry as a case study. When chatoing government is the basis of making shows and cinema, which is their product, then an industry will sink. Now, use that logic for any industry. This isn't a startup economy. This is a suck-up economy, where CQ validation is more important than actual company valuation and originality. And in such an environment, good ideas are stifled and bad ideas that are likely to fail will be rewarded. Now let's come to the labor market, another topic that Goyal sir seems to ignore. See, India has a literacy rate of 77%. Our global rank, 101st. Our GDP per capita, around $2,900 compared to China's $13,000 and US $89,000. Oh, and 90% of Indians earn less than, hear this, 25,000 rupees a month. Think about that. In such a scenario, what kind of business model do you expect? Startups will obviously cater to people who can actually buy things, na, jinke paas paisa hai. And as for hiring skilled professionals to build cutting edge technology, kahan se layenge boss? And who's the buyer?
मैं हैरान हूँ जी.
But chalo, let's leave other industries aside. Let's talk about one that I know very well, experience hai. The media industry, especially the news media industry. Now, the Indian media till about 15 years ago was seen as a high growth, high employment sector. We have 22 official languages and most Indian states have populations that are larger than an average European country's population, man. Investors were excited. In India and overseas, Tamil, Bengali, Marathi, Kannada, Malayalam, Gujarati, Assamese, Telugu, each of these languages have markets and dozens of MSME media companies could have been supported. A vibrant creative ecosystem. But in the last decade, this one industry has gone from struggling to straight up suffocating. It's not dying, it is being strangled and killed by government policy and vindictive, revengeful action. And I say this from experience, boss. I used to get unsolicited calls from venture funds, Indian and foreign. Now I only get income tax notices. Anyway, they were excited to invest in both fiction and non-fiction, infotainment and hard news. But today, no one wants to touch the media space. It's radioactive. OTT platforms are scared to make shows that will piss off Sarkar. No one wants to even become a creative director there. All this started with a press conference where one genius minister, armed with 100% confidence and 0% self-awareness, announced that the government was liberalizing the FDI regime for digital news media by capping it at 26%. I'm talking about news media. Just to clarify, liberalization usually means relaxing restrictions, opening up markets, less restrictive investment regime. But in this case, where there was no cap earlier, the government suddenly decided to impose a 26% limit, that too after approval by them. And they called it opening up or liberalization. See, this is my leg. See, this is a computer. See, kuch bhi bol do yaar. Restriction ko liberalization bol do and let's call it reform. And who was this visionary behind this press conference? Well,
माननीय वित्त मंत्री ने अपने बजट प्रस्तुतिकरण में भी इसका संकेत दिया था कि एफडीआई को कैसे, एफडीआई रूल्स को कैसे और लिबरलाइज करके हम भारत में बड़े रूप में एफडीआई को प्रोत्साहन दे सके.
oh, अब समझ में आया. Someone who can't tell the difference between liberalizing and restricting obviously can't be expected to understand India's entrepreneurial ecosystem either. And see the beauty of Goyalji's prediction.
These are the main changes which we believe will give big boost to FDI into the country, help people who are looking for alternate manufacturing hubs and would want to come to India to leverage on our comparative strengths and create large number of jobs for the people of India.
This will make people want to come to India and invest here. You know how much FDI has come into news media since then? Zero. You know, all have packed up and gone. Huffington Post, Quartz, Vice, there may be others that I don't know of. And at least 2 investment consultants who had set up office in India have packed up and gone. Sir, आप visionary हो. जो आपने बोला था, वही हुआ है.
अरे उसका बिल्कुल उल्टा हुआ है.
So what? कुछ ही बोल दो. That's the beauty of power. You can say anything you want. So I guess the Honorable Minister Piyush Ji calls fasting eating, calls bathing drying, and calls public relations journalism. And media space में survive करना है, तो sell your company to any of the 2 big A's from Gujarat. You know who I'm talking about, right? You see, by chance, if you manage to set up a business in spite of the odds that the government puts, you'll just be arm twisted into selling to one of the highest CQ businessmen. And then you can call it ease of doing business.
वाह क्या सीन है.
Let's talk about finding good managers, department heads, and leadership positions for startups. After all, they're the backbone of any growing company. You can have the best product in the world, but without solid leadership, it'll collapse under its own chaos. But there just aren't enough of them out there. Why? Other than the fact that there is no incentive to be good, efficient, and honest, there is also this, that for years, India has underinvested in education and skill development. Our public spending on education is just about 2.9% of GDP, one of the lowest among G20 countries. And you expect a thriving startup ecosystem when the talent pool is running on underfunded government schools and broken skill missions? And when the public sees what is incentivized and what is punished, you really think anyone cares about doing something brilliant? You know the concept of carrot and stick, incentive and impediment? You know who creates that? Piyush Ji's own government. The now dead coup was given second prize in 2020 in the Sarkari Atmanirbhar Bharat Innovation Challenge. Second prize mila tha. And Twitter is, as we speak, fighting a case in court against Bharat Sarkar and has faced immense harassment in the past, and many other platforms have. But who was incentivized and who was impeded? And who has survived and who has not? So इस माहौल में स्टार्टअप बनाएगा कोई? आप ही बताओ. But then again, maybe you already know how hard it is to find good leaders. Just take a look at your own party. If there is such a vast pool of visionaries to choose from, who do you end up picking? Riot accused Kapil Mishra as Law Minister of Delhi. Law Minister. That's like hiring a drug addict to lead the anti-narcotics team or appointing a bulldozer as chief architect. And there are so many other examples which you can read slow motion karke pad lena. So if your own party, Piyush Ji, with all its power, resources and a bottomless pool of public funds and electoral bond cash, can't manage to find capable, efficient, accomplished leaders for some of the most important positions in the country, then where exactly do you expect entrepreneurs to find theirs? See, everyone loves to pelo gyan on ease of doing business, especially the ones who've never done any business. The regulatory framework is so dense in this country and so nonsensical, I can have a 4-hour show on only that. But let's get real. India ranks 63rd on the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index. And in the Global Innovation Index, we rank 39, while countries like South Korea and Singapore, with much smaller populations, sprint ahead in technology and research and development. So Mr. Goyal, before you criticize startups for not innovating enough, maybe ask yourself, are we actually nurturing innovation? Any well-meaning, honest entrepreneur trying to do something in India, build a business, build a product, is not operating because of the government or even aloof from the government. They are surviving very much in spite of the government, except the high Chatu quotient wale. They will get bank loans, they will get awards, they even get to buy out other companies who are slapped with ED/IT cases. And when the buyout is complete, all cases magically disappear. Chronology samajhiye. Amazing business environment, no? Did anyone at the startup Mahakumbh take Piyush Ji aside and tell him this ki sir zara sun lijiye gyan pilne se pehle? And this is the habit of governments across the country, not just of the BJP. They are a little more aggressive because they have way more power and an exceptionally petty and vindictive set of ministers. But everyone does it in some measure or the other. Media ko to sabhi dabate hain.
2 women journalists arrested for post about Revanth Reddy. BRS protests. YouTuber Savukku Shankar's house ransacked. He says Tamil Nadu police complicit. Journalist booked. Activist arrested in UP over remarks on Adityanath. Held after covering bank corruption stir. Assam journalist booked under SC/ST Act.
Meanwhile, this fellow, who is most famous for his nano chip in 2000 rupee notes,
2000 रुपए के हर एक नोट पर NGC यानी नैनो GPS चिप लगा हुआ होगा.
also famous for a dodgy sting operation against the Jindals for which he was in Tihar jail.
सुधीर और समीर झूठी खबरों का प्रसारण रोकने के एवज में निजी कंपनी से 100 करोड़ रुपए की वसूली करना चाहते थे, लेकिन इनकी करतूतें कैमरे में कैद हो गईं.
And his vile hate-spewing primetime rants,
एक सॉफ्ट जिहाद है और एक हार्ड जिहाद है, वैचारिक जिहाद भी है और कट्टर जिहाद भी है.
is reportedly getting a sarkari contract worth crores. Read the report. Link is in the show notes. पीयूष जी, कुछ incentive and impediment का system आपकी सरकार में गड़बड़ नहीं लगता? Anyway, there is also the Assam Chief Minister Hemanta Ji, another one of BJP's great leaders who once had a litany of cases against him. खैर अब तो washing machine में साफ हो गए हैं. So Hemanta Ji was at one of these events organized by media houses which contribute very few good ideas, if any, to the discourse, but offer great revenue generating and lobbying opportunities. He had this brilliant insight.
अरे मैं कौन हूँ यार? मैं तो आज हूँ काल नहीं हूँ. मैं क्या हूँ? मैं तो व्यक्ति हूँ और 20 साल 30 साल जिंदा रहूंगा फिर मर जाऊंगा. ये तो हम लोग क्या है? अपने आप को सोचता हूँ कि वी आर ए बिग इंस्टीट्यूशन. मर जाने का 2 दिन का बाद शोक सभा का बाद कौन खबर करता है आपको?
Now before I get to the meat of the matter, Hemanta da, this is not true कि मर जाने के बाद कोई याद नहीं रखेगा, शोक सभा 20 दिन वगैरह वगैरह. अपनी पार्टी को देखो यार, 50 साल के बाद भी नेहरू की गलती है यार. याद तो डेकेड से रखते हैं आप लोग. Now let's get to the digital media and journalism.
हमारा जो लीगेसी मीडिया है और टेलीविजन है, ये लोग सरकार को ज्ञापन देके रखा है कि पोर्टल का कोई रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं है, रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटीज नहीं है, तो इसीलिए पोर्टल को जर्नलिस्ट नहीं माना जाना चाहिए।
हेमंत दा, डिजिटल पोर्टल रेगुलेशन में आता है, रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी है, इतना भी नहीं जानते और आप चीफ मिनिस्टर बन गए हैं। पीयूष सर, startups still throw up better informed leaders than this one that your party has chosen. According to Hemanta Da, digital media is not even real media. The world is going digital, but Hemanta Da is swimming the other way like salmon. Modi ji is giving us digital India, but Hemanta Da is still analog. ये होती है असली लीडरशिप कि रियल मीडिया वो है जिसमें सरकारी एड्स हों। I mean, he really said that. Hemanta Da is Assam's spiciest export after Bhoot Jholakia. He says digital media doesn't count because it isn't broadcasting. This is coming from a person whose state spends over 130 crores on advertisements, most of which go to channels that barely question him. Meanwhile, small digital outlets get slapped with legal notices and FIRs. But Netaji didn't stop at that. He was in full swing to give Piyush ji competition in पेलोइंग ज्ञान।
पॉलिटिशियन का बीच में तो कॉन्सेंसस है, कौन पॉलिटिक्स है कौन पॉलिटिशियन नहीं है, लेकिन असम में जर्नलिस्ट कम्युनिटी में वो कॉन्सेंसस नहीं है।
वाह, what a system. According to Hemanta Da, they all decide who is a politician, and since they all have reached consensus after sitting together कि हाँ भाई, this person is now certified politician. Hemanta ji, let me clear up a little misconception you have about who decides who's a politician. You see these irrelevant people called the public, the जनता, they decide. आप नहीं डिसाइड कर सकते। मतलब अपनी पावर में इतने झूम गए आप कि पॉलिटिशियन और पॉलिटिकल लीडर कौन है ये आप बताएंगे, जनता नहीं बताएगी। कितने सालों से कांग्रेस मुक्त भारत हो रहा है लेकिन जनता होने नहीं देती। The BJP has tried everything. ED, CBI, income tax, bulldozers, defamation, arrest, unfollowing on Twitter, not on coup. But the reason opposition parties across the nation and political leaders are still relevant because in a democracy the people decide who's a politician, not a few of you sitting together कि भाई consensus हो गया. And similarly, sir, you don't decide who's a journalist. You can send legal notices, we've got. Withhold government ads, we don't need. Raid offices, we've been raided. You've done all that. But people decide who they trust. See, जनता डिसाइड करती है कि पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट रिपोर्ट्स और जर्नलिज्म कौन कर रहा है और सरकारी सेवा और पीआर कौन कर रहा है। कुछ न्यूज़ प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं जिन्हें जनता चलाती है और कुछ जिन्हें सरकारें चलाती है सरकारी एड्स और पेट्रोनेज देके। वो भी जनता का पैसा है सरकारी एड्स वाला, लेकिन आपको ये गलतफहमी है हेमंत दा कि ये आपका पैसा है और आप लोग डिसाइड करोगे कि कौन जर्नलिस्ट है। और यही मौका है जब मैं कहूँगा कि न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री ना सरकारी एड्स लेती है और ना ही बड़े बड़े इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट्स और उनकी कंपनी के एड्स। ये रहा QR कोड, शो नोट्स में लिंक भी है। आप लोग हमारी पत्रकारिता को सपोर्ट करें, हमारी कमाल की टीम जो जर्नलिस्ट से भरी हुई है उनको सपोर्ट करें और हम ही दिखा देते हैं कि भाई कौन जर्नलिस्ट है और कौन नहीं। Support our team and support independent news media. Because when the public pays, the public is served. You know, I keep saying that all the time. And when the advertiser pays, the advertiser is served. Which all too often are governments, which is why government ads are everywhere. But Hemanta दादा, लगता है लेगेसी मीडिया वालों की बहुत मानते हैं कि वो डिसाइड करेंगे कि जर्नलिस्ट कौन है। You mean ये लोग डिसाइड करेंगे जर्नलिस्ट कौन है?
लेडीज ब्यूटी पार्लर में मेकअप की आड़ में लव जिहाद की इंटरनेशनल साजिश चल रही है।
हाथ में कलावा, हिंदू लड़कियों से छलावा। पिछले साल यूपी में मेहंदी जिहाद का आरोप भी लगा था, जिसमें मेहंदी लगाने वाले मुस्लिम युवकों पर लव जिहाद की साजिश के आरोप लगे थे। अब ब्यूटी पार्लर जिहाद का आरोप लग रहा है।
When the BBC aired a documentary on then Chief Minister Modi and current PM Modi's 2002 record, enforcement agencies raided their offices. When Media One, a Malayalam channel, reported critically on CAA, Bharat Sarkar banned their transmission. When foreign platforms like Vice News and HuffPost India left, it wasn't because of lack of stories or lack of audience. It was because of the slow strangling of press freedom and of the digital economy in India, which is still carrying on. And yet, here we are, still here, because people fund us, because you don't need a government ad to speak the truth. You need a spine. So yes, You can keep giving 100 crores in state ad budgets to your chamcha channels, but we'll still show up at Manipur to report from the ground. We'll still show up to report from the ground during elections. We'll still hold the mic to voices that don't trend because the public decides whose journalism they want to support. Not Himanta Biswa Sarma or any of the other political leaders across the country. Neither does legacy media decide. See, journalism isn't free. It's either sold or funded by the people. So you pick a side. Now coming back to Piyush Ji, where we started all this from, because this whole show was about him payloading gyan on Indian startups, saying they lack originality and ambition. Now, according to an Aspiring Minds report, 80% of Indian engineering graduates are unemployable in the knowledge economy. And if your party has leaders like Himanta Da, तो फिर देश के startups के पास क्या ही hope है यार? Ask anyone who's currently running a business after first convincing them that their honest feedback will not lead to ED or other harassment, and once they're convinced, Piyush Ji, please ask them. They'll tell you that what's killing innovation is not laziness, it's not a lack of originality, it's compliance chaos, political interference, and constant fear of legal overreach, which is the bane of the business community in India. So Mr. Goyal, payload less gyan, let people work, or at the very least, stop tripping them when they try to build. And why am I saying this? Because Piyush Ji, very few people will. You see, the startup crowd will whisper it in closed rooms, they'll rant on their signal groups, but when it comes to saying it in public, they go full CQ mode, because CQ makes your businesses work in India. They're scared of notices, of defamation, of never getting that next round of funding. But I'm doing this in service of the Sarkar, because I'm but a Sarkari servant in that sense. I'm dropping this truth bomb because we don't get Adani money, we don't get Ambani money, we only get tax notices and raids, which we love. Thank you. We just flash this QR code, and if you're watching this and thinking, this journalism is worth something, then scan the QR code and contribute. This is the I still have a backbone option. And if you're one of those high-earning tech bros, and I know so many of you, who wanted to say this but didn't have the guts to risk your Series C valuation, don't worry. I have a special gift for you, a special QR code for tech bros. This is the premium tier. Slightly higher denomination, slightly less guilt. Let's call it guilt money. See, I know many of you sado in private, but in public you have to improve your Chato quotient. So this one says, I may be charting the Sarkar, but at least I hedged my morality portfolio. The least you can do is keep one independent newsroom alive and also share this show on your Signal and WhatsApp groups with other tech bros. So hedge your chartoing, keep a diversified ethical portfolio. It's good for your soul, it's good for democracy, and as for us, we are here to do journalism, commentary and critique, unafraid, uncompromising, unsparing, unwavering, undeterred, undaunted, underwear. See, I'm in Piyush Ji's mode. कुछ ही बोल दो, तुम लोग तो ताली बजाओ. We'll be back with you next week. Until then, stay mad. That's the only way.